Yo, before this video starts, I'd quickly like to mention that I've created a community Discord server for this YouTube channel. The invite link will be the first link in the description. Join to put some extra inches on your penis. Chapter 507 was disappointing to say the least. Other people can yap all they want about how they really liked seeing Mandiok power up and how a minor character is finally doing something major in the series, but we don't sugarcoat things around here and everyone knows that's just a lie. Anyway, the chapter kicks off with an unnecessary pan to Crystal's shower, which was not so unnecessary because hey, Lookism fan service? I'm not gonna lie, I'd put money on this being the best part of the chapter. Anyway, we find out that Charles Choi is all over the news due to a corruption scandal related to Jian Liang's development surfacing. This is of course not surprising. It's natural that when in a battle with Charles Choi, Eugene isn't only gonna rely on brute force by sending the second generation to take down Gun, he also has to take down Charles Choi himself, and that's where his intelligence gets put to use by trying to defame Charles. The true surprise behind the matter was the fact that PTJ just casually, in the most subtle way possible, revealed the 9th member of the 10 geniuses, Beyond Kim, which appears to be some sort of law genius, basically the Saul Goodman, or if you're a TikTok lobotomite, the J-Oma of Lookism. Now Beyond mentions that whatever's going on the news isn't really anything major, just a bunch of tabloid articles with really no concrete evidence, which Beyond says he's confident he could win the media war against Eugene's party. However, something he can't protect Charles from is the information inside the red paper. He said that no matter the cost, they must procure the red paper or else things may get out of hand. Charles Choi tells him not to worry about the red paper though, and Beyond replies saying, "It's Gun, isn't it?" I'm a little suspicious on the fact that this 9th genius may have been affiliated with the Yamazakis, or maybe even a part of them. Either way, I believe he was a fighter of some sort, even if his main specialty is being a lawyer. Not only because of the scars on his face, but I mean, let's be real. In the pre-generation, there are only two ways of surviving. Either you fight your ass off and try your hardest to become as strong as you can, or you die. Now this is when the chapter cuts back to Gun versus the second generation, in which we finally get a panel of Samuel So doing something, and that thing which he's doing happens to be smoking a cigarette with his hands in his pockets. Someone write that feat down on a piece of paper please, this is a historical increase in Samuel's power level stocks. Anyway, we also see Jerry looking like a tomato, and we then see Jerry gassing himself up, hitting Gun in the face and claiming he's bluffing. I'm not gonna lie, I was genuinely concerned that Jerry would accidentally let out a massive fart that would shatter both the sound and smell barrier because of how much pressure this man has on his face, but to be honest, that very well might have been his only chance of actually doing any damage to Gun. We then get a panel of Gun breaking the chains Ryuhei wrapped around him and punching Jerry's head into the shape of a literal bean. Gun gets hyped up and says something along the lines of, unlike the second generation, when he says he's going to kill, he means it and he never bluffs, which the second generation is just catching strays because of something they didn't even say. Then we get a PTJ Hood classic, reusing a panel, and then we cut to the strongest member of the second generation, Vasco, and he starts using Brektak's forbidden technique number 1, entering runner's high or hero mode, and he hits Gun with a devastating left hand which catches him off guard and puts him in the air. We then cut to the Burn Knuckles being the most wholesome crew in the series, wanting to fight on the side of Vasco. However, he demonstrates to them that the reason he doesn't want them to fight Gun with him is not because the Burn Knuckles are weak, which of course they aren't, they're the strongest crew in the world, but it's because, and I quote, "there are no heroes who put their friends in danger." Vasco of course looks old enough in this panel to be Taesu's 3-year younger brother. He honestly just looks like the cool uncle here, but either way he charges at Gun with a knee to the right nostril, and Gun immediately recognizes the fact that Vasco is utilizing Brektak's forbidden technique, which I honestly enjoyed seeing, but then unfortunately Gun hits Vasco with a swift knee to the knee, and then another knee to the face, which immediately sends him to the dream realm in which he managed to successfully rid of that blind date he fumbled 400 chapters ago. I think it's worth mentioning the fact that Gun is also counting every single person he knocks out in this chapter, which is indeed pretty cold, but I don't want to give this man too much credit because he did say he would literally kill them and he wasn't bluffing. He's only knocking them out here, so I guess he didn't fulfill his promise. But then we cut to Zack speed blitzing Gun for 3 panels, and PTJ does Zack extremely dirty by copying the same face expression Gun uses when he fought UI Daniel the first time around, and he actually manages to grab Zack Lee whilst he's doing his own speed blitzing parade, squeezes his face and forcefully books him 12 dentist appointments in the near future, which Zack doesn't seem to appreciate. He immediately hits him with a powerful left hand. Gun doesn't seem to give a fuck though, as he immediately throws a Saitama punch back at Zack's face, and it seems the punch broke the 4th wall and knocked the narrator straight into a Gong Soap flashback. Zack starts imagining what would happen if he really managed to beat Gun, and that's when he swiftly dodges the punch, alley-oops himself into the infamous G counter stance, and gets knocked out in a single punch. So to answer that question regarding what would happen if Zack Lee actually beat Gun,
I guess we'll never know.
And another thing I guess we'll never know is how Gun managed to defy physics this chapter, because as soon as the 3 crew heads begin charging at him to try and put an end to this battle, Gun immediately jumps into a SpongeBob stance and starts doing whatever the fuck this is. It honestly just looks like he's swimming sideways in the air to me. Anyway though, he lands on Yusung's head and pre-moves the checkmate by counting Yusung as knockout number 5 before even landing an actual hit on the guy. But it appears that Ryuhei actually pre-moved the pre-move because they somehow managed to teleport to the location without getting into the narrator's field of view, and that's when a big black man spawns and hits Gun flush in the face and starts speaking to Ryuhei in Japanese about taking care of Yuseong, and he starts gassing himself up saying he's gonna take on a supposedly enraged Gun all on his own. And then the chapter cuts to Eugene and manager Kim having a conversation in the car. It appears to be that Eugene is actually somewhat nervous about the outcome of the second generation's fight against Gun, which I mean he really has the right to be. It's fucking Gun. He exclaims that he doesn't want to go back to that time where he lived in a reality, and if he's unable to catch Charles Choi, he'll go back to that time, and Mondiok apparently knows that best out of anyone. Now here, Gun starts questioning Mondiok's reasoning behind wanting to stay on Eugene's side this whole time, because Yusung without Eugene is meaningless. However, Mondiok is different. He has the ability to lead a group on his own and strength to rival anyone, so why does he follow Eugene? And then out of fucking nowhere, Gun asks Mondiok to join him. I'm not sure what he means by that. Maybe he means serving Charles Choi or something, but I don't really like this whole hyping up a minor character to out of nowhere be something really major, because it usually never ends well, and it's just a plot device used for PTJ to create this kind of synthetic cliffhanger where even though it seems like we don't know what's gonna happen next chapter, we really actually do know what's gonna happen because PTJ isn't slick and Mondiok is a fucking fraud. The chapter then cuts to Eugene talking to Mondiok and Yusung in a flashback about them either catching Gun and Charles and living in the dream, or they keep living in reality where all their plans fail. It's then revealed that this flashback is happening in the place which represents their reality the most, the place they really don't want to return to, which is apparently their school, in which we see their lockers being full of statements which imply that the 3 of them were bullied when they were younger. Now I'm not gonna lie, Eugene's backstory better be something heavier than this, because if Eugene is out here trying to convince me that him being bullied in school is a sufficient excuse to do whatever he did to all the innocent victims of the workers, then I wouldn't buy it even if they fucking paid me to do so. Anyway, then PTJ reveals that this whole time Gun had actually stolen the safe with the red paper from Yusung and Ryuhei, and we get a little panel of Gun trying to raise up all the men in the audience because we know which way that motherfucker swings. Now Gun asks Mondiok one final time, is he gonna join him and betray Eugene, or will he stay with them and try to retrieve the red paper for the second generation? To which Mondiok replies, a sweet offer. Had it been me in the past I would have followed you, but it's different now. I've already promised him that I will live in the dream. I find the resemblance between Mondiok and Gun here very satisfying, not gonna lie. This whole interaction resembles Go's offer to join Gun, in which he asks him to betray Charles Choi and join him and the 4 major crews in taking him down. However, Gun and Mondiok both refuse because of the promise they made to their leader, and then Gun immediately hits Mondiok with a cold one-liner, which isn't really a one-liner because, you know, it's taking up 4 lines on the screen, but fuck off. Gun says that Mondiok thinking he could kill Gun is in and of itself a dream, and then Mondiok replies with the fact that it seems like in order to live in the dream he mentioned earlier, he must surpass Gun, which we all know that's not happening, but hey, at least you got a cool panel at the end of the chapter. Anyway, I don't want to take up too much of your time today. Let me know what you thought of the chapter down in the comments, only if you feel like it, and make sure to join the community Discord server. The link is the first link in the description, as I said. And yeah, thanks for watching. Don't forget to stay constipated. What the fuck am I even saying?